The return of first love. Opening. The space left behind by an old photograph. Every morning, Park Jong-ho opens his desk drawer. There, at the very back, rests a thin black and white photograph. The pleats of a school uniform skirt remain crisp. A girl with short bangs stands backlit, smiling. Her name is Lee Yun-hee. Jong-ho lifts the photo toward the window. When sunset floods through, Yun-hee's eyes grow sharper. When the light dims, her smile dissolves into the paper's grain. Half a century has passed this way. On his desk, a half-read book, round reading glasses, a chipped mug. Each time his aged hand touches the photograph, the thin paper refuses to lose its sheen. Time has rewritten people's faces, but this paper, it holds a single, profound miracle. His home is on the third floor of an old apartment building, overlooking the river. The air inside hangs slow, moving with a reluctant sigh. The clock's second hand ticks on, utterly indifferent. Tea leaves steep in the kettle. When he closes his eyes, the scent of a distant spring rises, leaves bursting open, bicycle wheels crunching over gravel, sunlight soaked deep into gym clothes. Jong-ho tries to follow that scent, then stops. Nostalgia carries the heart away. Yes, but it cannot carry the body. So he closes the drawer and opens another day. Part 1. Golden Hours and Sudden Emptiness. Jong-ho's young days were poor, and therefore intimate. There was a time when they borrowed each other's notebooks at the library's window seat. On exam days, Yun-hee would unwrap a lunchbox bound with a red rubber band. Jong-ho wouldn't stop eating until only a single spoonful remained. They folded their futures into many shapes, dreams as thin as paper cranes, as light as paper boats, as far-reaching as paper airplanes. But summer passed over those dreams, and autumn fell without warning. One day, Yun-hee disappeared without a word. Only pencil shavings remained. At her library seat, Jong-ho rode his bicycle through the alleys again and again. He looked up at nameplates, shook mailboxes, but the alleys kept their silence. People offered different explanations: family opposition, distant relatives interfering, illness, moving away. None of it sounded true. All of it sounded true. In the end, Jong-ho closed his mouth. If he opened it, the emptiness would swallow him whole. The life that followed was diligent. Jong-ho became a teacher, spending his seasons in chalk dust. He memorized names, called attendance, recorded grades, distributed parent letters. School had rules, and those rules made life bearable. But sometimes, when he turned around, at the end of the hallway, he saw the shadow of an unfamiliar woman. No, not a woman. A space someone had filled, then permanently vacated. Watching dust settle there. Slowly, Jong-ho would close each day. Part 2. A cafe in old age, a place where imagination and reality overlap. After retirement, Jong-ho learns to sit in the neighborhood's small cafe. The cafe's glass window holds both the river and the bridge. People cross back and forth, birds circle overhead. He opens a book there, inserting memories between the letters. One day, as steam slowly disappears from his paper cup, the door opens. A woman enters wearing a worn camel-colored coat. Her shoulders slope gently, her wrists are slender, her eyes clear. Even on an elderly face, certain lines cannot be erased. Jong-ho knows those lines. They're lines worn thin inside his heart over years. The woman stops in front of his table. She doesn't sit down. Instead, she goes to the counter. and orders a warm latte. Milk foam peaks like a mountain on the cup. She returns and sits across from Jong-ho. The greeting is brief. They confirm each other, like two transparent films, long overlapped. In that moment, Jong-ho knows he's actually standing in a scene he's rehearsed thousands of times. In his imagination, Yeonhee was always young. But the Yeonhee sitting here now is old. And somehow that's more convincing. Time meticulously arranged this aged face for this very moment. They don't say much. With age, words decrease, while gazes lengthen. In a brief silence, Jong-ho feels his heart rapidly gathering age. Things long awaited, once they arrive, pass quickly. So he decides not to rush. Rushing leads to mistakes. Mistakes lead to losing more time. He adjusts the back of his hand slightly, just sitting there, confirming they've both survived for each other. This alone is enough for today. Part 3. Stories passed across time. A few days later, they meet again at the same spot. This time they bring more time with them. Jong-ho unfolds his years, teaching life, children's names, classroom smells, playground dust, lamplight during grading nights. Yeonhee quietly sets down her years. A brief marriage, the smell of hospitals and medicine packets, market noise, fluorescent lights flickering out each night. Two timelines, distinct in shape, yet bearing a strangely consistent pattern. People ultimately wander in similar places, endure pain in similar places. The stories don't drag, they borrow each other's hands to carry the past forward. Jong-ho doesn't ask the questions he'd left unasked. He doesn't demand to know why she left. Instead, he asks what the weather was like that day. It seems a trivial question, but weather often provides sanctuary. Ask about the weather, or the shape of roads, or the color of flowers, and some truth quietly emerges. Yeonhee remembers the wind that day, the wind that giggled and followed her when she turned the corner. It felt like the wind was pushing my back, she says. That's not an excuse, it's an old explanation. Jong-ho's daughter, Ji-yeon, notices her father's transformation. At the dinner table, his spoon has grown lighter. He sits longer by the window. His footsteps have found rhythm. She asks, "Who is it?" Instead of answering, Jong-ho places the old photograph on the table. His daughter looks at the girl in the photo and smiles. I can barely see her face, but she's bright as a child. Ji-yeon willingly makes space for her father's late joy. Some love arrives late, and late love shouldn't be complicated. Part 4. First revelation: leaving was not betrayal, but defense. At their third meeting, Yeonhee slowly rubs the cup's rim with her index finger. The foam disappears, leaving only a thin ring. She opens her mouth to speak. In her youth, her family was rigid and cold. They had a strong will to keep their daughter's life bound to a predetermined path. Jong-ho's family was poor, and because of that poverty, many things were struck down. Between these two households, their relationship couldn't last long. One night, Yeonhee heard low voices from her family's kitchen, plans to say outrageous things to Jong-ho, determination to do anything for the sake of face. That night, she thought about what she could do, what was the best she could do. The separation looked like a choice, but it was actually defense. Yeonhee chose to leave. If she hadn't left, something far more vital would have shattered. She wrote on a single sheet of paper, disjointed sentences, erased words, and instead of a name at the last line, a small dot. Instead, she made herself a promise. Someday, when his life became safe, When her own life was somewhat settled, she would return. She would place before him again the time she'd taken away. But promises are always slower than people. This slow promise traveled through long years to reach today. Jong-ho sits for a long time. After hearing this, his eyes don't moisten. Tears in old age have become precious and don't come easily. Instead, somewhere inside him grows warm. He lived long holding on to misunderstanding. Time was what finally untangled it. Without time, this confession would have remained locked away longer. He doesn't think I'm sorry toward Yeonhee. Sorry loses direction too easily. Instead, he feels grateful for returning alive, for returning even late, for enduring and persevering there. Everything that arrives late transforms entirely into gratitude. Part 5. Second revelation. The one who left far away had actually been nearby. Yeonhee's story has one more thread, longer and thinner. After marriage, she moved to another city across the sea, then returned near her hometown due to her husband's illness, and from then on, very occasionally, she passed near Jong-ho. She walked outside the walls of the school where he taught. On graduation days, she watched the playground from afar. She saw him arm wrestling with children, occasionally straightening his back to look at the sky. He didn't know. Outside, there was a singular audience member, watched on. Yeonhee told no one about this. If she spoke of it, the lie might escape. She watched quietly. Quiet observation is truly an ancient form of love. Around retirement time, Jong-ho once felt an unfamiliar gaze. On a winter afternoon, after distributing gloves to a few children remaining on the playground, as he turned back, a woman stood by the school gate. A scarf half covered her neck, a hat covered her forehead. He nodded. The woman bowed lightly. That was all. That evening, he stayed awake for no reason. The inexplicable relief he felt that day now receives a name. In today's revelation, that woman was Yeonhee, not the shadow of someone who left, but someone who'd been standing nearby all along. Part 6. Late love has few explanations, much understanding. When you try to explain things, they often tangle, so they decide not to explain much. Instead, they fill each other's days. Jong-ho introduces Yeonhee to neighborhood walking paths, the path where cherry blossoms bloom early, and the one where they bloom late, days when the river flows low, and days when it crashes high, trees where birds gather, and trees they rarely visit. Yeonhee hands Jong-ho a small box. Inside is a paper crane, folded long ago. Its color has faded, its edges worn, the shape of dreams they once folded together. They place the crane on the windowsill. When wind blows, the crane's wings move, ever so slightly. It means still alive. Jong-ho's grandson Min-soo surprisingly understands elderly love immediately. He mirrors their walking pace, slow but never stopping, not talking much, but often pausing to look at something together. Young generations sometimes handle love quickly, start fast, and fast, forget fast. Min-soo sees something different. In this slow love, long waiting builds the muscles of love, and those muscles keep the two standing, even in old age. He carefully takes a few photos, not faces. He photographs hands, tiptoes, shadows. Faces change, but steps and shadows don't change easily. Records remain that way. Part 7. What lies between apology and forgiveness? One day, Yeonhee exits a small clinic's examination room. The results paper isn't long. At a certain age, even after tests, there are few words. Numbers increase, but words to write decrease. She doesn't show Jong-ho the results paper. Instead, she adds one more day to walk together. At the same time, she makes small preparations, organizing what remains in her home, pulling out envelopes from drawers, attaching brief notes to nameless photographs. There are two preparations in love: preparation to live together, and preparation to someday part. She does both simultaneously. Those who meet late understand this. Beginnings are omens of endings, so beginnings must be firmer. Jong-ho doesn't apologize to Yeon-hee. Instead, he tells himself, failing to hold on back then wasn't a mistake, it was circumstance, and what he's holding on to now is a person, while circumstance stands beside them. He practices what he learned late, multiple times a day: how to wait, how not to walk ahead, how not to carry heavy things alone. Leaning on someone isn't a sign of weakness, it's the architecture of shared strength. He learns this belatedly. Learning, sometimes, deepens the later it comes. Part 8. The temperature of hands and the direction of light. Spring returns. Along the riverbank, the light of young leaves gathers. The two sit on a bench. Sunlight slowly travels from right to left. Shadows change length. Footsteps of passing people change pitch. Jong-ho pulls a thin handkerchief from his pocket. At the handkerchief's corner, someone's initials are embroidered from long ago. Yeon-hee's. He folds the handkerchief again and places it in her hand. The temperature of her hand imbues the handkerchief. Temperature transmits faster than words. That evening at sunset, the glow isn't red, it's closer to gold, a color befitting late love. They close their eyes simultaneously. Closing your eyes is briefly borrowing each other's interior. In that moment, time pauses, or rather, time continues flowing, but the two lightly step away from its current. In human life, there are a few small respites. These respites don't take the form of travel. Instead, they take the form of benches, the form of hands, the form of light. Night descends. The wind grows slightly cold. Yeon-hee stands. Jong-ho also stands, extending his arm. Together, they walk slowly home. Their steps remain slow. Their words remain few. It's enough. Love often seems demanding, but fundamentally, only a few things are required: waiting, confirmation, and the temperature of hands. With these three, even late love finds its place. Returning home, Jong-ho opens the drawer. He takes out the old black and white photograph again, but this time, he doesn't prop it by the window, nor does he push it deep inside the drawer. He places today's handkerchief beside the photograph. Past and present become each other's support. He turns off the lamp. Darkness occupies the room. Only the afterglow of sunset creeps in through the curtain. He is slow, but he is certain. Tomorrow will still hold the sound of walking. Two sets of footsteps. Footsteps that lengthen and shorten, matching each other's pace. That is enough. People cannot reclaim time once lost, but in the space of lost time, someone arriving late can sit. Those who sit late are quiet, careful, and therefore stay long. First love didn't disappear, it simply took a long route back. Things that return usually have reasons: to protect, to endure, and finally, to speak, like these two today.